If you've ever wondered who really controls money in America, governments, billionaires, or global financial institutions, this video will help you understand the hidden system behind wealth, power, and influence. By the end of this video, you'll clearly understand how money flows through the US economy, how billionaires like Elon Musk influence industries, how institutions like the IMF and World Bank shape global finance, and why understanding this system can change the way you think about money forever. Let's start with a simple question. When people think about money in America, most imagine banks, jobs, salaries, and businesses. But behind the scenes, there is a much bigger system working quietly, a system made up of governments, corporations, billionaires, and global financial institutions. Money is not controlled by just one person or one organization. Instead, it moves through a network of power, influence, innovation, and policy decisions. To understand this, we need to look at three major forces: technology billionaires like Elon Musk, global financial institutions like the IMF, and development lenders like the World Bank. Each of them plays a very different role in shaping the modern economy. First, let's talk about Elon Musk. Elon Musk does not print money. He does not control interest rates. He does not give loans to countries. But what he does control is innovation. Innovation creates industries, industries create jobs, jobs create income, and income fuels the economy. Companies like Tesla changed the electric vehicle market, SpaceX changed the space industry, and new technologies like AI and automation continue to reshape how people work and earn. This kind of influence is powerful because it changes the direction of the economy. When new industries grow, money flows into them. Investors invest, governments support them, consumers spend on them. That is how private innovation influences national wealth. In America, corporations and entrepreneurs often move faster than governments. And when they succeed, they don't just build companies, they reshape entire markets. This is one way money power works. Not by controlling money directly, but by controlling where money flows. Now, let's look at the second force, the IMF. The International Monetary Fund works very differently. The IMF does not build companies or create products. Instead, it helps countries stabilize their economies during financial crises. When countries face inflation, debt crisis, or currency collapse, the IMF provides loans and economic guidance. This affects the global financial system, including America. Because when global economies become stable, trade becomes stronger, markets become predictable, and investments become safer, and the United States plays a major role in global financial leadership. The US dollar is the world's primary reserve currency. Many international loans and trade agreements depend on it. That means global financial stability often connects back to America's economy. The IMF doesn't control American money, but it influences the global financial environment where American businesses operate. And that influence matters. Now let's talk about the third force, the World Bank. The World Bank focuses on long-term development. It funds infrastructure, education, and economic growth projects in developing countries. Why does this matter for America? Because global development creates new markets. When countries grow economically, they buy more products, use more technology, and trade more with developed economies like the United States. So indirectly, development lending supports global economic expansion, and that expansion benefits American corporations and investors. This is how financial influence works at a global scale, not by controlling one country's money, but by shaping the system where money moves. Now let's bring these three forces together. Elon Musk represents innovation and private industry. The IMF represents global financial stability. The World Bank represents economic development. Together, they show three different types of economic power: innovation power, financial policy power, development power, and America sits at the center of all three. The US economy is unique because it combines strong private companies, global financial leadership, and international investment influence. That combination is what makes the American financial system powerful. But here's something important to understand. Money control today doesn't look like it did in the past. In the past, governments controlled most economic power. Today, influence is shared between governments, corporations, investors, and global institutions. This shared power creates a predictable system, and predictable systems can be understood. When you understand how money flows, you start seeing opportunities differently. For example, when technology industries grow, new careers appear. When global markets expand, businesses scale. When financial systems stabilize, investments grow. Wealth often follows understanding. People who understand systems make better long term decisions. That's why financial education matters. Not just budgeting or saving, but understanding how the economy actually works. Let's think about this in a practical way. A person working a job is connected to the economy through income. A business owner is connected through production. An investor is connected through capital. A government is connected through policy. Global institutions are connected through financial stability. All of these layers interact with each other, and together they form the money system. So when someone asks who controls the money in America, the real answer is more complex than a single name. Money in America is influenced by innovation, policy, global finance, and markets. No single person controls it, but many forces shape it. And the strongest influence often comes from those who understand how the system works. That is why billionaires focus on leverage. That is why institutions focus on stability. That is why governments focus on regulation. And that is why individuals should focus on financial knowledge, because understanding money is more powerful than chasing it. When you understand where money flows, you can position yourself better. You start thinking long term, you start avoiding bad financial decisions, you start building assets instead of only earning income, and that mindset shift changes everything. The system may not always be fair, but it is often predictable. Innovation will continue, global finance will continue, development will continue, and the American economy will continue evolving. The real question is not who controls the money. The real question is whether you understand how money moves. Because the people who understand the system are the ones who benefit from it the most. And that understanding is the first step toward financial freedom. If you enjoyed this explanation and want to understand money, wealth, and the economy in a simple way, subscribe to Arsam Explains Money